Utilizing AI agents is a perfect way to save money and help scale your business. I'm going to show you a simple yet effective way to build your own AI agent utilizing n8n. This is the exact method I'm using for my own SaaS platform, and it's been able to save me hours of time every day. So I'll stop yapping and let's dive into this. So let me run you through what this automation is going to look like. So we have our email trigger, and for this use case, I'm going to use Gmail. From there, we're extracting the name of the person who emailed us. Once we get the name, the email gets routed into our AI agent right in here. And all this is doing is interpreting whether the message is a happy message, an angry message, or a curious message. When it comes to your own use case, you can feel free to use different emotions. It's completely up to you. From there, it's just double checking and making sure it has the right word implemented. And here's our switch. So if we have a happy customer, the workflow is going up in here, and that's going to create and send a message for us as a response. If the customer is angry, we're going to go ahead over in here, and it's going to do the same thing. And then if the customer is curious, we're going to have it go through our database. That way our AI agent is able to answer any questions they may have before sending off the email. So all in all, it's a really simple automation. It's nothing too complex. Now I know what you might be thinking, isn't this a little bit above and beyond? And my answer to you is yes, and there's a reason for that. I want to show you a few really cool techniques that you can utilize AI agents for that are all applicable to having your own email bot. Let me show you what I mean. This AI agent right here is utilizing a technique called sentiment analysis. The best part is we don't need people going through all the comments or all the emails in order to collect a large amount of data both quickly and cheaply to uncover how consumers feel. I'm only going for emotional cues, but if you wanted to, you could look through any type of business application. You can use this for analyzing how consumers feel about your brand, a new marketing campaign. The sky really is the limit. These agents over here are teaching you how to create tailored conversations between you and your customer base. You can make these be far more functional, especially when it comes to order tracking or actually giving out refunds. But for this use case, we're only just going to have it respond to emails. And finally, in our last AI agent, I'm teaching you how to access a database and have AI agents interpret what was inside of them. This is extremely useful, and you don't just have to use this for responding to emails. A lot of AI agents are using techniques exactly like this, and that's how they're able to be so efficient and tailored towards a specific company, idea, process, etc. So at the end of the day, I'm really trying to get your brain thinking about how AI agents can be utilized in multiple different ways that might be helpful towards your company or your goals. Okay, now that I explained all this, I promise I'm going to stop yapping, but don't forget to leave a like and comment or subscribe if you thought this video was cool. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to go in here and add a new workflow. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our Gmail trigger. We'll have this scan every minute, so whenever an email comes through, it's going to start our automation. Now, it's pretty easy to get these things set up. I've made a video on how to get Gmail connected and set up for automation, so I'll put the link in the description so that way you have a guide. But essentially, you're just going in here, adding in your custom client ID as well as your client secret, and then you'll sign in with Google. But as I said, I've got a whole video tutorial on that, so I'll link that in the description. Now, as you can see, we get our email information right here, but if you take a look at the snippet, this isn't the full email that I sent as a test. So we got to go over here to simplify. We click on this and just turn that off, and let's go ahead and fetch the test event again so we can see. So we get way more data, which some of you may find valuable, others probably not. But now we get our text. So this is the full email. What kind of dark magic is this platform? I'm angry at you, unbelievably so. I demand answers, solutions, or at least a free sticker for my troubles. I'm outraged, exhausted, and mildly impressed by the chaos your service has brought into my life. Please respond before I escalate this to my mom. Love, Alex. Perfect. So now that we have this done, one of the things we want to do is extract the first name of a user from the email. There's going to be a couple different ways to do this, and there might be different ways that you want to get the customer's name, but I'm just going to show you one really basic one. This will help give you an idea of how you can do this. We're going to go in here, and we're going to go ahead and add in a code node. So this lets us run a custom code. Let me show you the ChatGPT prompt I used to extract a person's first name from their email. Now, I did a little bit of a shortcut for this one. So in order to get this code node working, all I did was copy these two right here. And then I went into ChatGPT, and here's my prompt. Sharing n8n JSON of Gmail node and code node, and then I just pasted in both of those JSON files. So once I did that, it updated my code so that it's able to extract the first name directly from the Gmail JSON output. All right, so I'm just gonna go back right in here. And once I'm back in my code node, I'm just gonna go ahead and paste that in and test the step. So as you can see, we get the first name pulled. So this is where we're bringing in the AI agent. So let's go ahead and go in here. And we want to go from a tools agent to a conversational agent. We're not going to be using any tools for this. We're going to switch this from take from previous node automatically to define below. This is what's letting us assign a role for the AI agent. And don't forget to delete this right here because we're just going to be using this from Gmail and that's what's going to be our input. So let's go in here, click on this. And for our text, we're going to go with analyze the sentiment of the following message and categorize it using only one word: happy, angry, or curious. Now I'm going with these because that's what I'm most interested in, but it's all going to depend on what you want. You can have way more specific or general things. If you wanted something specifically for refunds, you could add that in. If you wanted something for like a free coupon, it's completely up to you. Add in what you feel like. Now we want to get the body of text. So we're going to go from schema to table. It really depends on which one you want to use. And we're going to find our text. Let's go ahead and drag this in, and every time you do drag it in, it puts it at the bottom. So I'm going to copy it right here and add that right in here. So that way we'll be good. And before we do test this to see whether it's a happy email, an angry email, or a curious email, we need to import our model. So let's go ahead and go down here. And you can use anything you want, but for this one, I'm going to go with OpenAI. I'm going to add that in. And I already have my OpenAI account connected, but to do that, I'm going to show you really quick. We're going to head on over to platform.openai.com/docs/overview, and I want to click on my account settings. And then from here, I go into API keys. All I have to do is copy the secret key that it gave me, go back, go in here, and paste it in before running again. So I've got this connected. Let's go ahead and test if our AI agent is able to interpret the emotion that came from our email. So we'll test step. And there we go. As you can see, it's correctly able to analyze the sentiment of the email, and it will appear that our customer is angry. So we're going to go ahead and continue to the next node. So we're going to go ahead and add a security measure to this. I'm pretty confident that my AI agent isn't ever going to add like a bunch of extra words, but it's better safe than sorry. So let's go ahead and click on the code node once again. We're going to add this in. And I'm going to show you another prompt I used that was able to help me remove any additional information outside of the words that I was looking for from the AI prompt. So once again, I'm going to show you the prompt that I used in ChatGPT to get a code that just makes sure that everything's good. It's only extracting the words we want. So pretty much double checking our work. Here's a look at the prompt I used for this one. Essentially, all I'm asking it to do is extract the 3 words I wanted from my JSON object. That way we're not worried about any form of data contamination and we're just getting what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and copy in the code, and all I got to do is paste that in, click save, and we'll test our step. And as you can see right here, it's able to extract it as angry. So that's just us double checking our work. You don't have to do this step. It's really up to you, but I decided to go with it anyway. All right, so now we're starting to get into the fun stuff. This is where we're routing the interpretation from our AI agent so that we can get to the good stuff where we're able to create and send a message off. So we're going to go back into here and we want to use a switch. So this is what we're using to route all of our messages. So let's go ahead and make sure that's connected. We're going to click on this, and for value 1, we just want it to be the extracted word. So we're going to go ahead and add that in, and then we're going to add another one. So add that back, and we're going to add another one. And you'll be adding as many as you have, depending on what you actually choose to go with. Once again, this is just an example I'm using from my own company. It's going to be different depending on what you choose. So for this value, we're going to have it go with happy. For the one underneath it, we're going to go with angry. And then the final one, we're going to go with curious. Oops, curious. All right. And since we have an angry customer, we're going to go ahead and start off the first AI agent in the middle. So let's go ahead and add in AI agent. So we got that in. And we just want to do a really basic test real quick. And don't forget to delete this, by the way, just to make sure that everything's working properly. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go ahead and pin this data so that way we're not having the angry email get replaced by anything else that might come into my inbox. And let's test the workflow. All right, so it's interpreting, and then it's going to get extracted, And as you can see right here, it got routed. All right, perfect. So as you can see, the data was correctly able to get over here. So we're going to go into the prompt. We're going to do define below. And then for our text, here's what we're going to go with. You are a customer support agent for scoutstack.io. Respond to the customer based on their message. If they request a refund, inform them that refunds are not possible. Use California surf culture vernacular. If they are not requesting a refund, politely apologize on behalf of scoutstack.io and express appreciation for their feedback, letting them know the team values improvement. Do not worry about a signature. Here is the customer's message. And we're going to go back in here to our Gmail trigger and drag in the text. So if we go all the way to the bottom, that is what we wanted to send to the user. All right, let's go ahead and test the step and see what this is able to come up with. And I always do this, but before we test our step, go to the model and go ahead and add in whichever one you're using. I'm just gonna stick with GPT 3.5 Turbo, but feel free to use whichever one you think is gonna give you the best outcome. All right, so we got that in. Let's go back here and let's test our step. Oops. And another thing, I also forgot to switch from tools agent to conversational agent, so don't forget to do that. Now let's test our step. And there we go. So we're like, dude, like totally bummed to hear you're feeling the bad vibes. Unfortunately, refunds are like catching an epic wave on a rainy day. Not happening, bro. But hey, we're all about that But hey, we're all about that stoke for feedback, so huge apologies for the gnarly experience. The team is all about that constant improvement grind, you know? Hang loose and stay rad, dude. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. You can even add like different accents and everything, as you can see right here. So I'm pretty happy with that one. And now let's get to the last part. We are just gonna go ahead and add in our Gmail send a message node. So let's go ahead and click on this. So we're going to go to the Gmail trigger. I'm going to stick with the schema for this. Let's see where it's at. I don't think I'm going to need headers. All right, so this is our email address. So we're going to copy that in. For subject, I'm just going to go ahead and throw in bad news, comma, kahuna. So Gmail can show you like the full name of the person, but we only wanted to go with the first name. So we can drag this over in here. All right, so that's our subject. Now the message part is a little bit tricky. It took me a minute to figure this one out. Obviously you can just like drag in your message, but it's not gonna properly translate when we actually send over the email. You have to have this organized as HTML. This is gonna make our email look good. It's gonna be properly spaced. We're not gonna have to worry about a bunch of weird truncated characters. All right, so let's go ahead and go in here. We'll do hey, and then I want to use my first name for this. So hey, comma, underneath it. We're going to drag in the output from our AI agent. So we have hey, Alex, and then the whole kahuna thing. And then underneath that, we want a signature. If we were just to leave it like this, it's all going to be jumbled together. So we're going to go into ChatGPT. We're going to copy this. And then we're going to ask it to add HTML code so that it's structured properly. As you can see, this is what I had. And this is the response that we're able to get. So we want to copy all of this information right here because that's an actual HTML structure. And when we go back into n8n, we're going to delete what we had, paste it in, and this will make it actually look normal. So the last thing we have to do from here is simply test our step. So I'll click on this. And as you can see, it says the node was executed successfully. And I'll show you what it looks like on my end. So now if you look over here, we've got our full message. Everything looks good. We've even got a signature. And if you click on the link, it'll even take you to my website. So that's awesome. So now it's time to create the emails for customers who are satisfied with our product or who are happy with the service. So we're going to copy this. We're going to scroll up here, paste it in, and connect it right here. Their message will now be routed to a different AI agent. So let's go back and fetch our new test event since we're going to have a different email coming in. So we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to unpin this and fetch in the new email that came through. So let's fetch our test event and let's see. All right, cool. So as you can see, it's definitely a more positive message than the one prior. So now we're going to test it and see if it's getting routed properly. So we'll click on test workflow and see what happens. As you can see right here, it correctly interpreted the message as happy. And instead of going to the middle AI agent, it's now going to the one at the top. So let's go in here and we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing. Here's the message I'm going with for this one. You are a customer support agent for ScoutStack.io. The customer has shared a positive message, respond in a warm, appreciative, and enthusiastic tone, express gratitude for their kind words, acknowledge their support, and let them know their feedback means a lot. Encourage further engagement, like inviting them to explore more features, share their experiences, etc. And then underneath it, we'll have the customer message. So we're going to go back to the bottom. We're going to go over here. We're going to go back into our Gmail trigger and let's scroll down a little bit, see if we can find that message. Here's our text. So we'll just drag that in and let's reconnect this to our Gmail since we want this to work again. And instead of bad news kahuna, we'll go with good news kahuna. All right, let's go ahead and test this step. All right, the email's been sent and let's see how that looks. Here's our message. Hey Alex, stoked to hear you're digging ScoutStack. We're all about spreading good vibes and helping you catch the perfect wave of success. Keep shredding with the influencers you found and stay stoked for the gnarly updates we've got coming your way. Best regards, Alan, customer support team, and then ScoutStack.io. Perfect. All right, that's exactly what we're looking for. So now we've got one last agent we want to implement, and this one will be slightly different than the other two. Now to start this one off, we're going to add a edit fields node. This is going to help us create a database that our AI agent can reference, since this one is about a user who's curious and wants to know more about the platform. So we're going to go in here and we're going to name this database. Our value is going to be any of the information we want our AI agent to be able to respond with. I added a bunch of different information regarding my platform and what it actually does, so that way now the AI has a way to reference this. And once again, I just put in a bunch of basic information about my company into ChatGPT, and then I said make this so it's able to work with an AI agent in n8n. If you look in here, these are the prompts that it's giving the AI. So it's saying if the question is about automation, integration, etc., explain how ScoutStack.io helps businesses with AI-powered workflows. And then it's making sure to keep the responses concise and professionals and to guide them to the website if it's unsure. All right, perfect. So that is our database. That we're going to drag this over here. We're going to bring it down and we're going to go ahead and copy that AI agent back in here since it's pretty much set up for us. And there's a few things we do differently here that I'll walk you through. So let's go ahead and delete that. We're going to remove the Gmail for now since we want to test it a couple times. And before we go into our AI agent, we're going to have to load in the new email that we got. That way we can test it. So this is going to be from a user who's curious about ScoutStack. So let's go ahead and test the workflow really quick. All right, perfect. So if you go back into the AI agent, you can see that the output was able to analyze the message as curious. And I'll show you what that was in a second. And here's the text that we were able to pull in. It was, I'm looking for a tool to help us discover authentic influencers in our niche. And ScoutStack caught my attention. Before signing up, I wanted to ask, how does your platform source influencer data? We're looking for creators with genuine audiences. So the AI prompt was correctly able to route this as a curious output. And now if we go back down here, we're going to go into our AI agent now that we have the actual data coming in. And so the customer message, we're going to pull from our Gmail trigger. So we'll drag in the text from here. And then what we also want to do is drag in the information from our database. So we're going to close this Gmail trigger right here. And we're going to drag in the database. So we have the customer message here and then the database right here. Let's copy, delete that, move it right here. And now I believe we're good to go and test this thing out. So we'll reconnect our Gmail trigger. Let's go ahead and change the subject. We'll do, hey, Alex. We'll put in the person's first name this time. Curious about ScoutStack. And let's go ahead and try this entire automation out and see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and click on test workflow and see where we go. All right, and here's our response email. Hey, Alex, ScoutStack.io sources influencer data using AI-powered lead generation and social media scraping capabilities. As you can see right here, it was properly able to respond to our email, and it was able to properly interpret the context and the information they were looking for and provide a response to them. So there you have it. These are 3 very basic responses you can use with an AI agent. If you want to use more, go for it. All you have to do is come down to the switch area and add in another routing rule. And then you can use this right over here to interpret another emotion. So that's it. There's a ton of different ways you can do this, but I found this one to be extremely easy and effective. Now, if you don't feel like building this automation out, no worries, I've got you covered. Go ahead and check out my Skool community. I'll be posting this in there. I'll include a link in the description. On top of that, if you have an automation that you would like to see being built, I do take custom requests in there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. But that is all I have for you today. So, yeah, peace.